obtained from the Vodafone or Vodacom University in early 2000?
Yes, it's ongoing over the years. At Vodacom, we have continuous learning, and
Ukuthi une certificate sona lesi saka Vodacom kodwa si baqhubekela phambili ngokuthi bafunde.
And by Vodafone University or Vodacom University, is it an in-house training institute, or is it open to?
it is an in-house learning platform for Vodafone employees.
Kanti khona lokufunda kwabo yilokufunda befunda bengaphakathi kukampani bafunda ukuya phambili ngeVodacom.
Now, particularly regarding your evidence here in court, because I see these other certificates that you have. For example, you've got certificates in fraud, corruption, and law enforcement. Is that what you testified about?
Yes.
Une certificate futhi corruption, ne fraud, ne law enforcement.
Now, pertaining to cell phone evidence, towers, base stations, and the like, do you have any certification in that or any formal training in that?
Yes, we have a court readiness program that we actually go through. In terms of the towers, because we work on that on a regular basis, we have in-house learning programs via our engineering departments. Our learning is continuous. It doesn't just stop at a certain point.
I just want to get the training that you get from the engineers at Vodacom. Are you trained on the workings of the towers themselves?
Yes, not on a very high technical level, but yes, we do know how it works, how's data retrieved. We know how to, how can I say, plot maps in terms of the towers. So me personally, education is quite wide, and I always equip myself with the knowledge of what I work with and what I need to do.
Bafunda njalo ukufunda kwabo kodwa hayi lolo lwazi lokuthi kungaba ulwazi lama engineering baqhubekela phambili ngokufunda ngoba yena ngokwakhe lolo lwazi unalo.
And also regarding the billing system and administration system, because if my understanding is correct, is that Nemo deals with saving data, that is the billing system, both prepaid and contract data for subscribers. Would I be correct in that respect?
Okay, so I think you need to elaborate on what you mean by billing, because if you talk about billing, to me, my understanding is the accounting side of it, where you are billed for your account.
Yes.
Ngangifuna ukuthi uyicacise nase ukhuluma ngendaba yokukhokha ubhadala billing. Ngifuna ukuthi ungicacisele ukuthi usho kanjani ngoba lokho abantu mabebhadala lokho kuya kwenye ihlangothi eofisini elinye.
Billing applies to your monthly statements or the monthly account bills that you get for your cell phone usage.
Ukubhadala kusebenza ngenyanga ngenxa yokuthi abantu futhi babhadala ngenyanga nase kubhadalwa ngebilling.
In terms of Nemo, there is no billing on Nemo. It's purely for the activities that take place on your phone or handset.
Inimo ayinayo ibilling. Yiloko kuyenzekayo ku cellphone yakho.
Okay, so Nemo will contain data relating to calls, outgoing, incoming, text messages, received, sent, and data usage, which is GPRS, and tower locations as well.
That is correct.
Inimo izohamba kuma text messages bese iya nakumatawa.
Okay. Now, you've also testified that Vodacom has granted the South African Police Service access to the front part of the system in terms of loading of Section 205 subpoenas. Can you elaborate a bit on that as to how it works with subpoenas submitted, say in Gauteng to Nemo, and how the subpoenas are retrieved once the system has loaded them?
Sure. So the Vodacom LEA department has given the technical support unit of SAPS access to the front end system of
Vodacom inike SAPS leli hlangothi le sport.
Okay. So it used to be TSU, now it's the POCM officers.
Yayi kuyi-TSU ku Telkom kulama officer ka Telkom.
Okay, we have provisioned certain users from those TSUs access to the APN on Vodacom. They've been given.
Bayakhona ukungena kuleyo TSU leyo Vodacom.
They have been given usernames and password created by myself or my manager.
Bafane ngamagama walabo abayisebenzisayo ku-Vodacom nakuye egameni lakhe.
They would then access Nemo by using their password and username.
Bazongena ku-Nemo ngokusebenzisa ama-password wabo.
They will upload a copy of the 205 subpoena that is
Bazokhipha imininingwane ye-205 kubo.
that is received by them from the investigating officers.
Loko okuqhamuka ngakubona, loko kubuya ngakuphoyisa leli eliphenyayo.
They will then take that information from the subpoena,
Bazothatha lokho bese bakuyenza isubpoena.
input that on Nemo.
Kulokho bakuyenzele ku-Nemo.
They will then submit it.
Bese bayayinikeza ke, bayayisubmit.
Everything's done electronically.
Yonke into ngaleso sikhathi yenzeka ngendlela ye-electronic.
When it comes through on our side, at
Mase
Vodacom,
ifika ngasehlangothini lethu,
we then have access to the dashboard
bona base bayakhona ukungena ku-dashboard.
of all the cases that have been submitted by all the TSUs.
Kuwo wonke amacala lawa afike afaka yi-TSU.
From there, it will reflect on the dashboard as a pending case.
Lokho bese kuzoqhamuka ku-dashboard yibonise ukuthi amacala awasaqhubekela phambili.
Which means that it's awaiting to be assigned to,
Kusho ukuthi lokho kuzawube kuchaza ukuthi lawo macala asalindwe ukuthi anikezwe abanye laba abazosebenza ngawo.
to any of our 9 tech specialists that works at the
Azonikezwa
office.
kulaba abawu-9 babo labo o-specialist.
It is then assigned by my manager or myself to each of the specialists.
Kodwa uyena lo ozokhipha awakhiphele kulabo abafanele basebenze ngawo noma i-manager yawo ama-specialist labo abafanele basebenze ngawo.
Once it's assigned to a member of the team,
Nase inikezwe abanye balelo thing.
An automatic reference number is then created.
Bese kuyenzwa inombolo noma i-reference number kulo.
This is what we refer to the case ID.
Yilokho bese bayithumela kuma CID.
It is normally the number on the right-hand side, bottom right-hand side of the printed version of the document.
Inombolo leyo ezoqhamuka ibhalwe phansi esandleni sokudla phansi.
Okay, thank you. Now let's go to how cell phone works. How cell phone work vis-a-vis the cell towers, right?
Okay.
I've got a cell phone on me, which is off. When I switch that phone off, relative to the tower, does the phone automatically log onto the tower, or will it wait for me to have an activity, either a call, a text, or a GPRS internet use before it locates a tower?
Okay, so if your cell phone is off, right, and someone's trying to call you, on the data it would then reflect a CF, which is...
Nangabe ifoni ibhaliwe, kanti kule data yakho, yona izobhala ukuthi CF.
which means call forwarding. In most cases, we refer to it as voicemail.
Lokho kusho ukuthi ucingo leli elingathumelwa phambili kusho ngakubona izawuthi voicemail.
You would sometimes get a tower reflecting on when it's on CF.
Kodwa uzobona itawa ukuthi yiphi itawa nangabe iselfoni ibonisa i-CF.
So coming back to your question, when you say that if it's switched off, does it have activity? Remember, your phone always, if you have your data on, there's always updates running in the background.
Nangabe une-data kusho ukuthi noma kukanjani yona ine-backup lezosebenza ngasemuva noma ucingo libhaliwe.
So once you switch your phone on, you would then get all your SMSs that's been trying to come through, or your messages, and that's when it would then reflect the activities on that handset.
Nangabe uyayivula leyo cellphone yila izokhomba ukuthi manje seyasebenza nangabe kukhona okuthize lokho kwenzekayo ngayo.
But if the phone is on and there's no activity, will it still acquaint itself with the towers that are around it so that it's ready and able to either receive a call, make a call, if and when the need arises?
So could you just repeat
The phone is on.
On.
There's no activity. So will it still log onto a tower? And for lack of a better word, I say log on. You may put it in your technical language. Log onto a tower to say, I've identified this tower in case I want to receive, make a call, or have internet access.
So if your phone is switched on, but you are not using it for any incoming or outgoing calls, no incoming or outgoing SMSs, if it just lays dormant, there will not be any activity. But remember, in terms of GPRS, and again I say, if your data is active on your phone, you would then have updates running, and that would then pick up your towers.
Nangabe ifoni li-off ayisebenzi ngaleso sikhathi. Kodwa ngaphambi kokuthi isebenze mhlawumbe ithingi ethi uzothunyelwa i-SMS noma umyalezo. Kuya nge-GPRS. Leyo ezokhomba kuthawa kuzovela i-GPRS.
Now, you were earlier asked by my learned colleague, Advocate Sibanda, about this. How the phone picks up the tower to log on to, and your answer, if I understood you correctly, was that the phone must be within the vicinity of a tower in order to pick up a signal from that tower.
Yes, it must be within a range of a tower
No,
in order to
no,
pick up that signal.
Nangabe uphethe i-cellphone kanti leyo cellphone bonwa ithawa izofika kwa ithawa nangabe useduze naleyo ndawo la ibekelwe khona ithawa ifika.
Will that tower be the closest tower, or will it be the tower with the strongest signal?
So we're talking about two different technologies. I know in terms of WhatsApp, let's say GPRS, okay, it will use the strongest available tower. In terms of calls, we have now evolved, we have LTE, which is a better technology. It will pick up the closest available tower.
Kanti nangabe uphethe i-cellphone bese kuleyo cellphone i-cellphone ngaphambi kokuthi isebenze kusho ukuthi ngamanye amagama izothathwa ile tower leseduze nayo noma leyo cellphone ingathatha isignal lenamandla ukuvula ithawa leseduze nayo kube namandla lawa azofuna ukuthi i-cellphone ikhona ukusebenza.
Okay, but now in the context of this case, because some of the call that triple G1 emanates from 2014, that's why I'm asking this question. Where will the phone then, before LTE and the other new technologies that you're speaking about, will the cell phone pick up the closest tower, or will it pick up the tower with the strongest signal? And I'm not talking about data usage, I'm talking about calls in particular.
I would say it would pick up the closest available tower.
Ngizothi ngabe une-cellphone kodwa awuna data, leyo cellphone izothathwa noma izongena kuleyo tower leyo eseduze nayo leyo cellphone.
And let's factor in the following. If the closest tower is down for routine maintenance, there's severe weather conditions, there are multi-story buildings, and all of that, you know the exceptions that I'm talking about. Will it still choose that tower? And the other one is this: if that tower for that period is also busy because of traffic congestion, too many users on the tower, will it still choose it as the nearest tower, or will the call then be rerouted to the next tower with the possible strong signal?
It will go to the next available tower.
Nangabe uphethe i-cellphone kanti useduze ne-tower ethize, kuleyo tower bese kuba nesiminyaminya kungena amakholo amaningi, wena lophethe njengoba ingakhona ukungena kuleyo tower izoya kwenye tower leseduze nala wena ukhona.
Okay. Now we know that, and I'm not going to question that, I'm not an expert. We know now that Nemo was functioning properly in 2014. It did what it needed to do. It recorded calls, text activity, internet activity. I just want to go to a question that my learned colleague was trying to ask earlier on, which is the following. You've dealt with the 205s of Ms. Kelly Khumalo, that is the 2498 and the 4538 number. And you've also dealt with another number, which is the 816 number.
Okay, I just want to confirm, where did you find the 816 number and which exhibit?
8169 is triple G1.
Okay, triple G.
Yes.
The number ending 8169.
8169.
Yes.
Yes. I just want to do a simple exercise. For the period of the 26th of October, and for background purposes, the 8169 has been attributed to accused number 3, according to the evidence that was led by Colonel Stein. Now, I want you to do this simple exercise. We are only talking about the 3 numbers, not the 8 other numbers that it is allegedly used. On the 26th, if you can look for me at any period between 5 p.m. until 21:15, if there was any interaction or communication between the 8169 and the 2498, the first number, the 072 number of Kelly Khumalo.
So basically, we are looking at the data on triple G1.
Yes, and then we cross-reference that with triple J1, which encompasses the 2 numbers of Kelly Khumalo, the section 205s of Kelly
And
Khumalo.
we are looking at what time on the 26th?
I'm giving you carte blanche, hence I said from 5 p.m., that is pre the incident of the 26th of October, until or just after 21:15, which is after the incident, as per the allegations by the state.
So I'm looking at pages 11 and 12 currently.
Yes.
I do not find either of those numbers on pages 11 and 12.
Okay.
Uthi yena kulezi inomboro lezi ebeyinikezwe lephelela nge-5169 ne-2498 ngelanga le-26 October uthi akazitholi kule page lebebheka khona.
And again, for the same time period, from 5 p.m. until just after 21:15 on the 26th of October, any communication between 8169 and 4358. 4358 is the second number, the 02704 4358 of Kelly Khumalo. Is there communication between those 2 numbers, 8169 and 4358?
Nope, I do not see any communication between those numbers.
Kuyo le number in 8169 ne-4358 uthi akaboni akayitholi kusho ukuthi ngamanye amagama akuxhumananga.
Now let's go to, I'm happy with those answers. Let's go to exhibit GD5E, Roman figure 3. Roman figure 1, I'm sorry, the big A3, regarding 060-901-6890.
Okay, which page are we looking at?
I just want to ask you, it will be, let's look at the 1st of December 2020 until the 31st of December. You were led on this by the state regarding communication from, to and from that number, referencing Queenswood Tower and those undefined and Mooragloed and Palmer Flats or Palms Flats towers.
Okay, let's firstly go to December. Let's find the page number for December 1, 2020, you say. 70. Thank you. Okay, so activities from the 1st of December starts on page 70 towards the bottom of the page. That first activity is around about 08:28 seconds. So you want me to look at
No,
that?
I just wanted you to stop there. I just wanted to lead you because I'm not going to take transaction by transaction because it's repetitive. What I want to find out from you is this. If we've got a cell record like that, which references that certain activities were relayed or routed through Queenswood Tower, can you, on the basis of the 205 itself, precisely say the user was this person of this handset that made those calls? Can you identify the user, in other words, of the device that made those calls on that number?
No.
Uthi yena nasebheka lokhu kwakubonga ngoDisemba uthi yena angeke alekho ukuthi kwakubani lo obefona uthi angeke.
And in the same vein, we say, for example, and let me give you just a bit of a background to be fair to you. Colonel Holmes testified that Queenswood Tower is about 220 meters away from Valeria SAPS. And we know that during December of 2020, accused number 2 was incarcerated in Valeria. And we know that the 060-901-6890 number is also attributed to accused number 2, which he verily acknowledges that it's his number. Now, the fact that the tower, Queenswood, is 220 meters away from a place known as Valeria Police Station, can we definitively say these calls were made from Valeria SAPS, from the records? Can we actually say that? Can we place a particular place?
No, so remember, I wasn't requested to seek any towers in the Valeria area. So I actually can't give you the distances, and I can't actually confirm, was it made from Queenswood and not closer to the Valeria police station.
Uthi yena angeke esho ukuthi njengoba unumber 2 bevalelwe eValeria, angeke yena esho ukuthi leyo call yayenzwa nguye noma njengoba eseduze nase Valeria Tower. Kodwa ukuya ngayo yayise Queenswood, hayi Tower yase Valeria.
Okay. Now you were asked, I think it was one of the questions from the bench, emanating from a question from my learned colleague, as to the coverage of a tower and the range of a tower. And as the court placed it, it's almost a second 360, right? But the story doesn't end there, correct? Because that tower has got what we call sectors or antennas, right?
Correct.
Can you briefly explain how the antennas work, what their directions are, what is called the azimuth, and their direction in terms of degrees? Although I will know, or I will assume that you did not do the tower analysis for Queenswood Tower. I just want you to put in a broad spectrum, because my colleagues and I have also asked for the engineer to come and clarify that up.
Okay. So if you want to go technical into the towers,
Yes.
by all means you need the engineer. But what I can say that the base station is made out of 3 sectors, right?
Nangabe ufuna ukungenelela mayelana netower kudingakala ukuthi ube ne technicians
It's made out of 1, 2, and 3, of which is GSM. Sector,
Yenza 1, 2, and 3. Kusho ukuthi lokho yi-GSM.
sector 1 has the numbers 4 and 6 antennas on it.
Oh, sector
Sector 1.
and
Sector 2 has 5 and 7.
sector 1 linear 1 and 3, and then sector 2
2, which is 5 and 7.
antenna.
Sector 3 has 8 and 9.
I3 in 8 and 9.
4, 5, 6, and 9 is 3
4, 5,
and
6.
2G
4, 5, and
antennas.
6. It's 3 and, you say it's 3 and?
2G. 3G and 2G.
In a 2G and a 3G.
Okay. I'll give you an opportunity to budget because I'm also learning from you so that I'm putting the correct propositions to you. Then, with regard to each sector, will Vodacom make the signal strengths the same or weaker, the one stronger, middle, and weaker, depending, because the sectors are meant to serve a particular area. Would I be correct?
It's meant to serve in a particular direction
Yes.
or position.
Yes.
Kusho ukuthi i-sector iyenzelwe njena ukuthi yona iseve only ihlangothi elithize la ibhekiswe khona.
Now, having the 360 degrees circumference, the allocation in terms of degree for each sector, will it be 3 parts of 120, or will also the degrees differ depending on the needs that needs to be served by the tower,
Okay, so I'm just going to read it out so that you would understand
Thanks.
better.
Thank you.
Uthi uzoyifunda ukuze ummeli ayitholisise kahle.
Okay, so a sectorized base station is divided into different sectors which is collectively covering the 360-degree radius.
Yona leyo sector kusho ukuthi yenze ukuthi ifanele ithathe iskhala noma indawo eyenza 360 degree kusukela kuyo.
Each sector would cover a portion of the 360-degree radius.
Izothatha njena isikhala esiyenza 360 degree.
This usually indicates the direction from where the signal originated.
Lokho izawusebenza ukuya ngokuthi ibhekiswe ngakuphi la kuqhamuka khona leyo signal.
As I've indicated, please note that a sectorized base station would be differentiated by numbers 1, 2, and 3, which would
Ingahlukaniswa ukuya ngeyinombolo ukuya ngo-1, 2, and 3.
okay, and then the base stations, it goes on to say that the base stations are named after the vicinity it resides in. We also have an omnial base station, which is a 0 after the name, and that covers a full 360 radius. The omnial base tower is not sectorized, and therefore there's no direction, there is no indication of which direction of the base station that signal originates from.
I get you.
Kusho ukuthi bese kuba leyo sector ibe nama la ikhavara khona, la ivala khona ama-degree awu-360 awu-4 ukuya ngokuthi ibhekise kuliphi ihlangothi.
I think it's also important for me to state that the base station in urban areas have a smaller coverage area, whereas in rural areas there's a larger coverage area.
Emadrobheni ama-base station awathathi indawo enkulu ufana nangasemaphandleni.
On that basis, if I understood, because we've been on recess for too long, if I understood your testimony correctly, the maximum range for coverage for a Vodacom tower, at the top end, it will be, 20 or 25 kilometers?
In a rural
In the
area,
rural, yes,
it
yes,
can
yes,
also
yes.
go up to 34
Yes, in the rural.
kilometers. Yeah.
And then in,
iyakhona ukuthi kungaba 25 kilometers kodwa iyakhonakala ukuthi ingaze yenze ama-kilometer awu-30.
and in densely populated areas like, for example, will there be a difference between Sebabia and CBD?
Anything from 200, 250 meters up to 5 kilometers, depending on how busy the area is.
Emadrobheni, endaweni ezifana nasemadrobheni, iyakhonakala ukuthi kungaba isikhala esingasuka size sifike ku-5 kilometers. Kuya ngokuthi leyo ndawo injani, kwakhwe njani.
Now, having the benefit of your explanation of the sectors in general terms, if I understand you correctly, say for example, the Queenswood Tower vis-a-vis Valeria SAPS, it is not the whole tower that will cover, say for example, the address Valeria. Only a particular sector set for that particular area will then relay the calls emanating from that building. Will I be correct?
Yes, depending on the position the position of where that handset
Yes,
is. It
yes.
depends on which sector is picked up by that.
Kusho ukuthi nangabe ithawise Valeria angeke ikhona ukuthatha yonke indawo. Izoya ngokuthi na leyo ndawo noma isector yakhona yingakuphi.
Now, evidence led by Colonel Hoss is that he attached certain photographs to his evidence exhibit DD5, the addendum thereto. And he testified that data was accessed by accused number 2 in January 2021 with what is called an InShot app. I think it's an app to match pictures. I'm not putting those. Will that be shown on GPRS if that particular phone was with a particular user? Will the network pick up that GPRS usage?
So coming back to what GPRS data comprises of, it is any internet-related activity. Whatever a person does on the internet reflects under GPRS. But the difference comes in whereby you can't differentiate on the GPRS data. This was for downloading photos, that was Google, that was WhatsApp. Unfortunately, on our set of data, it doesn't differentiate. Whether it was calls, WhatsApp calls, or messages, so you just have it as a whole activity, that this indicates that it is GPRS data, and it will then tell you that yes, you were busy on the internet.
Yes, but for the period of January 1st, 2021 to the period around, let's put it to the time when they say, according to the state's evidence, that the cell phone was seized from accused number 2 at Valeria police station. Do you have any GPRS data for that specific period, 1 January to 7 February?
Okay, I think when we discussed this earlier, I have indicated...
So sorry, my lord, before she explains, she indicated that she'll go and check because this is the information that we requested on the last occasion. Unfortunately, she says she did check. However, she didn't find anything for that period, but she's going to recheck and confirm with the state matter. So I'll withdraw that question for now. So, ma'am, you've answered practically the major sticking points that were for me. If I may, my lord, approach accused number 2 with leave of the court. Thank you, my lord. I'm indebted to the court. If we go back to the exhibit DD 5E, Roman figure 1,
Are we looking at a specific page?
yes, we're looking at page 81 and page 89.
81 and 89.
Yes, the period will be 18 to 20 December.
Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so 18 December, the first activity would be at 000242,
Yes, and then the tower location will be
Queenswood.
nge-18 zakaDisemba kanti yona ngeselfoni ikane kusebenza ngalesi sikhathi 0002.
I'm sorry, I was given the wrong. Let's look at the data where the device registered camouflage because I was given the wrong page numbers here.
Where do you see that information?
It's on exhibit DD 5E, Roman figure 1, page 81.
Okay. So Palmer Flats is 18 December. The first activity is at 17:39:44 seconds.
And it's there until which date?
It goes towards the end of page 81.
Yona neselfoni kanti just Palmer flag isebenza nge-1744.
It then ends on 20th December at 20:49:39.
Yase iphelela nge-20 zakaDisemba. Is it 20?
20:49:39 seconds.
49 seconds.
Okay. Now, earlier on, you testified about the distances between Queenswood Tower and Palmer Flats. For starters, let's start with that one.
The distance between Palmer Flats
And Queenswood Tower.
and Queenswood Tower is 2.6 kilometers.
Okay.
Kanti kusukela ePalmer Flats ukuya eQueenswood Tower ngama-kilometer ziphelelane nge-2.6 kilometers.
Now, I just want to ask you as a general question. If, say for example, it's a hypothesis. If the handset, for example, is located in Queenswood Tower, right? Is it possible for that handset, when it's making a call, to also pick up Palmer Flats based on the distance that we've just put now?
If you're in Queenswood, there's a tower there.
Yes.
It would not pick you up at Palmer Flats.
Okay.
But nangabe useQueenswood ebese ufuna ukufona le tower yasePalmer Flats angeke ikhone ukuthi ingapick up ifoni yakho. Kusho ukuthi kufanele usebenze itower leseQueenswood.
And so continue.
If there wasn't a tower in that area, then it would pick up the next available tower.
Nangabe akunatower kuleyo ndawo ngamanye amagama izawusuka ithathwe itower eseduze nalapho.
And on the same hypothesis, say for example, a mobile phone was in Queenswood and I want to initiate a call, will it ignore Queenswood and register at Morekhout?
No, if there is again a tower in the vicinity that you are in, it would not pick up a tower that is away from you.
Kanti noma ulapho ngeke uthi mawufuna bese le tower yase Morekhout ibe yona ezoyithatha. Ukuthi izosebenzisa itower eseduze nala wena ukhona.
And by the way, you said the distance between Queenswood Tower and Morekhout Tower was how many kilometers?
1.1 kilometers.
Zona lama tower ahlukene ngekilometer 1.1 kilometer.
As the court pleases, my lord, that's what I wanted to cover.
Okay, thanks. Yes, Mr. Munisi?
I think I'm going to be a little bit longer with the witness, and actually other aspect of the evidence that I still need to discuss with my colleague, Advocate Ngomizulu, who is not here. So may I request that I start with my cross-examination and the witness tomorrow.
Well, next, the following day, what?
I say, may I request that I start with my cross-examination of this witness tomorrow?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yes.
So we're postponing until tomorrow.
That will be my request, ma'am.
Yeah, fine.
Thank you, madam.
Are you available then tomorrow?
Yes, my lord.
The witness is available.